Coming up in the Five Dot Loft, I'll make my first attempt at arranging a lo-fi house beat and turning it into a full track. Stay with me. Welcome to the Five Dot Loft, where the process is the story. I'm Al Clark. So many choices. That's how I would describe arranging. You have a loop or a beat and you're feeling good about it, but you've watched all these videos. Why don't you finish your track? Go from loop to full song in just 20 minutes. It's completely overwhelming. The first thing that helped me was looking at arranging like video editing. It's making choices to convey meaning or emotion. The second thing was to realize and embrace the fact that automation was going to be a huge part of this process, especially in certain genres. And that automation is just about keyframing. In Ableton, they call them breakpoints, but really they're keyframes, just like any video editing or compositing software like After Effects. Keyframes are just markers that indicate a change in a particular parameter in time. So let's take a look at my process. So the first thing I did was to create a plan for the track. I have basically a full lo-fi house beat here with 13 layers. And I have all the material here for the full drop. And now I'm going to use the subtractive method of arranging to play with the energy levels and tell a story by modulating those over time. But there are so many choices. So I took the advice of others and I got myself a reference track and mapped out what I was doing. And here is the condensed version of that. So the first thing I did was I took all my layers out of all my tracks out of session view because I'm doing live looping. So I'm basically creating in session view. This is the beauty of Ableton. And I took everything out and put it into arrangement view. Threw them at the very end, called the choices, color-coded everything. Then using the locator keys, whatever they are, the locators, I mapped out the song using the reference track as the guide. So you can see what I have here. I've got an intro that's 16 bars where I'll start to introduce elements, bring the energy level up, do a first drop for 8 bars, like sort of medium level. Think of that as like the verse, I guess. Introduce the melody, and then do a break, right? Dreamy, swirly, low energy, take the low end out, do an 8-bar build, and then full drop for 16 bars. Now, at 123 beats per minute and 64 bars, that's like 2 minutes. What is it? 2 minutes and 8 seconds. This is not like a releasable track, but it's enough material where I can learn about how to do transitions, learn about how energy levels come up and down, and basically, and it becomes sort of like a demo or something that I can learn from. And I don't have to sit through 32 bars of a verse or something like that. So now comes the work. This is really the deep work, and that is you start to preview the track combinations to see what would work within each of these sections. So let me just show you what I have here. I'll start with my kick, right? And then we'll add the up hats, a clap, and here comes that top loop. The top loop, by the way, is really, that was sort of the inspiration for the rhythm and really the whole track. I really just started with that thing and then started to build from there. Here are these keys. Oh, I love this. This is the All Roads instrument from Jaron Lopez. It's like so dreamy, swirly. It's so good. And I forget what the progression is. It's just some simple minor progression. Here comes Trillion. People do these videos like, oh, life-changing. Now, this is so good. The sounds in Trillion are just amazing. So fun. All right, simple pad, which I'll add during the break. Here comes the main riff. This is kind of what, I don't know, this is what I'm doing that's maybe a little bit different, is that I'm creating these melodic elements with the guitar. And so I really dig that. I'll add a harmonic element as a high-end piece. Here comes my ARP. This is off the Fractal FM3, simple triplet delay, and that'll add energy. And that sounds like really nice with the harmonic there, and then with the riff. Sweet. And now here comes, let's hear the pluck. This is sort of that sort of pulse element. And then you add the harmonic. Yeah. And then the chug. And you can see where that might build up energy into the drop. And then here are the chords. And this is for the drop. I don't know, there's something like Pink Floyd-y about that for some reason. I don't know why. But it's just minor chords. And let's see, where are we going here? Oh yeah. So the next thing I did, back to the script. The next thing I did was to option drag everything over. So you option drag and you're basically copying and pasting over to create the skeleton for the song. And I can tell you, one of the things I did that was key was when I was previewing the track was I was taking notes, essentially writing the script that would eventually become the arrangement. So I have those notes here and I'm going to start to drag everything over. What I'm doing here is just laying the tracks in based in the bar numbers, not worrying about the levels or the automation or the transitions, just the raw placement of the tracks according to the sections as dictated by the locators. And now it's about the automation, the keyframing. Here again, especially for the purposes of making this video, I took detailed notes on what I was doing. But I have to say, this also really helped me to be very intentional about my choices and kind of solidified my knowledge of automation inside of Ableton. So let's take a look at these notes and I'll start to make the automation changes and you can sort of see the process of what I went through in my head. Okay, so here we are. We're going to try this automation piece. I've got some notes here. Oh, let me get this out of the way. I got some notes here. I'm going to go back to the locator in the start and let's listen to this intro. Got keys. Got that pluck happening. Here comes the melody. And here comes the top loop in here. And our first drop. Bass sounds a little bit loud here. I'm just going to drop that down a little bit. Let's bring it up in here. Here comes this break. Now, what happens with the break? With the break, we want to filter out the drums from 25 to, from the start of the break to 25 to 29. We want to filter out the drums. So I've got an effect rack on the drums. And so what we do is we create a breakpoint here to 29. We go here and we're just keyframing. In other words, we're going to create a keyframe here and a keyframe here. Particular parameter changes over time, and let's hear what that sounds like. And we'll filter out the drums. sweet. And you can hear that we've got a, where is that guy here? That's the pad. The pad has started to come in. You see that here, the pad has started to come in, and that's, what is that, glass low strings. Okay, that's just a standard. All right, next up, we have the keys filtered down to 112. So from 27 to 31 to 31, right click, edit value 112, and that knocks that down. And let's listen to what that sounds like. Nice. All right, the next thing we're doing is we're going to go 25 to 29 on the bass, and that's got a high pass on it. Here's my bass, and I got to filter that up like that. And there goes our bass. So now all that low end is filtered out. You really got to keep track of where you're at. You see twice now I've hit the wrong automation lane. I'm not sure how to just see certain things. All right, let's go to the next one. Bass, okay, now my riff filters out from 33 to 37. Here's my riff. Here is my filter cutoff, so 33 to 37. My riff is going to go out, so 33 to 37, and my riff goes out, okay? And let's keep rocking along here. And then what happens from 29 to 30, I'm going to add the dirt echo, the echo, and the reverb. So I'm going to, you know, make that nice and dreamy. I'm going boom, boom, and boom to 30, boom, 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 and I'm going to bring these up. All right, let's hear what all this sounds like. Filter out the drums, filter out the bass. Okay, starting to get swirly and dreamy here. All right, what happens to the ARP? From 33, okay, from 25 to 33, we bring up the dirt, reverb, and echo. So from 25 to 33, oh, there it is, all this stuff. So from 25 to 33, the dirt, echo, and reverb, all this stuff comes up. So from 20, boom, 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 and boom, to 33, all this stuff comes up, right? Boom, 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 and boom, right? All that stuff comes up. And then at the same time, from 33 to 41, we're going to filter it out. So then from 33 to 41, which is essentially the end, we're going to filter that out. So we bring up the echo, reverb, the reverb, what is this called? The voco crush, and then we bring it up, and then we filter it out. So we make it dreamy, and then we get rid of it. Okay, harmonic ARP, let's see what happens with the pluck. Boom, 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 boom. These come up. And then the formant filter from 28 to 37. So watch this, this is pretty cool. From 28 to 37, okay? And then you can right click on this and turn this into a sine wave. And that way you can sort of automatically put in keyframes in there according to certain shapes by right-clicking on it. And what that's going to do on the format, it's almost like an LFO. It's just it's going to make it nice and swirly. So let's listen to that. That's that format. Nice. And then I believe we go and we cut that off. So 28 to 37, we filter all that out. So from 28 to 37, where is this? This is all on the pluck now, right? Filter cutoff from 28 to 37. So from 28 to 37-ish. I'm even going to go down to 41. Whoops. Yeah, we filtered that out. So let's hear that. So this is our break. And you can see that my little drop steam effect is starting to come in, and we're into our build now. So from the build, the first thing we do is we're going to that chug. We got to open up the filter on that chug. So 41 to 49, we're going to open up the filter on that chug. Where's my chug? Here's my chug. So we're going to start, so 41 on the chug, we're going to start low. And 41 to 49 on that chug, we're going to bring him up. So we're going to filter in, bring that energy up across the 8 bars of the build. Okay, we're cooking now. Okay, on the riff, we're going to open up that filter, 41 to 49. All right, 41 to 49. We're going to open up that filter on the riff. Where's my riff? Where's my filter on the riff? 41 to 49. We're going to open up that filter. So mark that keyframe, mark a keyframe, open up the filter. Okay? On the ARP, 41 to 49, open up the filter. ARP 41 to 49, open up that filter. Sweet. Pluck 41 to 45, open up the filter. Where's my pluck? 41 to 45, open up that filter. Nice. And the format instantly 41 down to 0. So where's my format? Format? Am I saying that correctly? Format, yeah. Instantly to 0. I think I have it at 0 already. Oh, because that whacked down there. Beautiful. That's all good. Okay, and then I want to, at 49, instantly, I want to open up the filter on my drums because this is now the highest level here. So where is my drum? Right, there's my drum loop, and instantly, so this is where I wish there was a keyboard shortcut for this. So I want to be able to instantly open up this filter. So I mark a keyframe here, I bring it up, but I want it to be instant, so now I got to bring it over, and so that becomes like a vertical line. That's like very mousy, which I'm just not digging. But anyway, all good. 41, where am I here? I'm in my drop. Keys open all the way. So where are my keys? Where's my keys? Again, I want an instant opening here. So I'm going to mark a keyframe, open it up, and then bring it across back here so that it instantly opens. Same thing with the bass. Bass goes the opposite way because it was a, what is that, high pass? Is that right? And now what else? Where am I here? Bass. The riff, echo, reverb, and dirt to 0. So on the riff, the echo, reverb, and dirt to 0. Boom. 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 Yep, got you. The harmonic, anything on the harmonic? The ARP. Yes, the ARP. We want, the filter is now up and open, but we want to get rid of all of our time effects on the ARP. Echo, reverb, and dirt, vocoder is 0. So ARP. Okay, so echo, reverb, dirt. So all these things come to 0. Whack it down, bring it across. Whack it down, bring it across. Whack it down, bring it across. Okay. Pluck. Same thing with the pluck. We want the filter cutoff is open. The formant is at 0. But all of these guys need to come down to 0. Boom, 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 and boom. Right? Because we want to try. Because it's the drop. So let's listen from the drop and we'll see what happens here. Okay, here comes our main melody. All right, we're going to hit our break. Filtering out the drums, bringing in all these time-based effects. I love this swirliness in here. Yet you still hear that harmonic, right? Here comes the effects, building tension. You should start to hear that chug come in. And here comes our big drop. With the chords. That's it for this episode. If you like this kind of process video, a like, a subscribe would certainly be appreciated. Also, if you have any suggestions for arranging, please leave them in the comments. I've only done this a few times and I really want to learn. This is the Five Dot Loft. I'm Al Clark. We'll see you next week.